Alright, what's going on, guys? It's your boy King Red Diamonds, and I'm back again for another Nioh 2 video. Today I will be showing off my Hatchet build. This was a request that I had. I had already been working on it. I have a few more builds I'm working on, so please stay tuned for those. But for now, I'm showing you guys the Hatchet build. In this build, I'm taking advantage of the 7-piece Takemi Nakata with the 6-piece Usano. Takemi Nakata is pretty much a generic damage based grace. It doesn't have any like elemental boosts, anything like that. It's strictly a damage based grace for pretty much just straight utility. So I'm taking advantage of that, since the hatchets do deal with a lot of active skills and stuff like that, because they are a throwing weapon, and throwing is considered an active skill with this weapon. So I'm using that, and the Susanoo, of course, for the versatility. As you can see, I have purity on it. These came with purity, so they are pretty good hatchets. They also came with melee key damage, so that's pretty good. As for the gear is randomized. For anyone who is just getting the game, or has the game and hasn't made it to the Dream of the Nioh difficulty, and pretty much like depths of the underworld and stuff like that, whenever you are going for a certain grace, you take whatever equipment you can get. You don't try to chase equipment. You take whatever you can get, and then what you do is you roll what is known as a lucky drop effect on your accessories. As you can see, I have lucky drop weapon and lucky drop armor on my accessories. You take any equipment that you find. If it has the grace on it that you want, but it doesn't have, say, the star effects on it like you see here, if it doesn't have the good star effects on it and you want better equipment, you put that equipment on and use it, but you put on lucky drop weapon and lucky drop armor. That way, whenever you defeat an enemy, there's an increased chance that you'll drop the exact equipment that you're wearing with the exact grace, but with better rolls. Okay, now there are going to be certain pieces of equipment that do drop that are the same pieces of equipment, but they have different graces, and that's perfectly fine. But you have a better chance of getting the exact pieces of equipment that you want with the exact graces that you want if you equip lucky drop effects on your accessories. Okay, so that's how you farm graces and stuff in Dream of the Nioh difficulty and in Underworld and stuff like that. Okay, take what you can get. Don't worry about getting an exact piece with the exact grace. It's okay. There actually is a way that you can farm the exact grace that you want in Underworld. There is actually like a post on Reddit where you can look up which floors of the Underworld drop which graces. That's how I get the graces that I want. So you can go to those places in the Underworld, go to those floors in the Underworld, farm those floors, and just keep on doing that until you get the pieces and graces that you want. Okay, but as you can see, like I said, everything is randomized. Everything is going to be randomized regardless. It doesn't matter. If you want to have a full set of armor that doesn't have a grace on it already, you can do that. But it's better just, try to randomize it as much as possible, just so you can have a lot of different types of utilities and stuff available to you. I'm running a scroll of the Nioh that has ultimate courage and ultimate magic on it with the mystic dyad hatchets on it. Ultimate courage, magic, and courage actually scale with the hatchets already, so I just dual remodeled my weapon to scale with both magic and courage, as you can see. If you go down here, my magic is the same as pretty much all my builds. It's the most versatile way, I think, to run magic on a build. Of course, you have the barrier for the key recovery speed and the instant yokai pool purifications. Rejuvenation is for life regen. Steel is for defense. Extraction is to help with a little bit of health regen and stuff. I have life recovery on a rid absorption rolled on my Yasakani, so that'll help with my health regen and everything. And I also I'll probably roll life recovery on a rid absorption on my chest piece as well to help even more. But as far as this build goes, you probably won't need it as much, because you'll be keeping your distance as much as possible if needed. But that's what the extraction is for. Arch yokai is to help me get anima, so I can just keep on throwing out yokai abilities. As you can see, lightning familiar is just to get lightning on the enemy, which will slow them down, which is pretty much like a discount sloth. Plus, I think I also do I have it on there. I don't. But there is a star effect that can be put on your accessories which is sloth on Omeo hit. So if you do end up having that rolled on your accessories, I think that water familiar talisman would be the better one, because water is a natural defense debuffer element. So that'll be better, because they'll already be slowed down because of the sloth on Omeo hit, and then the water will debuff their defense, which will be even better than having lightning. And then my regular speed running scrolls and stuff like that, I use these to speed run Underworld, which I will actually show you in this video. I have been getting a lot of comments asking me, like, are my builds viable in Underworld? So I'll actually take this build into Underworld and show you how it does against Underworld bosses. We won't run an entire Underworld because that'll make this video entirely too long. So I'll just show you how I speed run Underworld, and then we'll get to the boss. We'll fight the boss, and then we'll go from there. The Guardian Spirit I'm running is Ho-Oh, bringing back Ho-Oh because of the purification that it has, as purified accumulation on it, and then melee damage versus a purified enemy. Because of course, like I said, I have a purity hatchets, so they're going to do very, very well with Ho-Oh. I do have purified accumulation rolled on both my accessories, so I should be able to get my purification up pretty quickly if I, you know, can deal enough damage to the enemy. White Tiger, of course, to help with more purity accumulation, and it also gives me an anima bonus on a purified enemy. Gozuki, of course, for the key damage, and Ippon for the stun lock and key damage. As for the skills and stuff, I actually was asked as well by someone, like, which skills do I like to use, and how do I, you know, determine which skills are the best. My opinion in choosing skills is to go with which skills you feel more comfortable with, as well as just know that skills are situational. There are no particularly best skills in the game, because each skill can be used in a different situation. For example, when you come to the dual swords, the skill Water Sword, as you can see, Water Sword is a very good skill against yokai. The reason why is because whenever you drain a yokai's ki, they are pretty much stunned in the same position. They don't move, they sit there. So if you throw out a Water Sword, you'll deal massive damage to a yokai. But if you tried to use this on a human enemy whose ki is pretty much been drained, it won't work as effectively, because you'll probably knock them back and then they'll regain their ki. So that's what I mean by situational. You wouldn't want to use Water Sword against a human enemy, because as you can see in the video it's playing, Water Sword, you stand still and you just do a series of strikes. But if you do go up against a human enemy, Windstorm is a very good skill, because for one, it's very fast, and two, it actually pushes you forward. So you're pretty much, say an enemy tries to back up, your Windstorm will follow them. So in terms of, like I said, skills, they're very situational. You use different skills for different situations. So my advice would be to try out every skill in that weapon's arsenal to see which ones you feel are better. Okay. For the skills I'm using on the hatchets, I'm using throwing skills mainly because of the Mystic Dyad hatchet that I have on my scroll. It allows you to have two Mystic Arts active. So with the hatchets, the Mystic Art that I'm mainly using is the Train Throw, which gives me increased damage on a charged throw from the hatchets. Tireless Throw just decreases the damage penalty it suffers from distance. Using Pierced Hurl light and high stance because I like the faster charge time. Of course, Dual Hurl light in mid stance, and then Chain Hurl in low stance and stuff like that. So like I said, it's pretty much situational. It does not matter which skills you use. Each skill is pretty much, you know, like, useful in its own right. So don't worry about, you know, which one will be perfect, which one will be the best. Pick which one you think you can use better in that situation. All right. Next, we'll go into our stats. As you can see, my stats are as follows. Constitution and Heart are at 118. Constitution, because it's at 118 because I want to give myself a nice amount of health. When you get later in game, enemies hit really hard, so you want to have as much health as you possibly can. That way you're not dying as fast as you can die. Some enemies can 1 to 2 shot you if you're not careful. So Constitution up to give me a nice amount of health, and I'm going to keep on putting points into it until I run out of points. Heart up to 118 as well, because I want to just have a nice amount of ki to work with. Courage 200 because of my weapon scales with. Stamina is at 25 to hit the capacity, to hit the equipment cap for me to be in B agility. So as you see, I have B agility and A toughness, so that's why I have stamina 25. It's also stamina's also at 25 because I want to hit the stat requirements to run all of the stats for Ho-Oh. If you don't know, whenever you run a guardian spirit, not only do you have to meet stat requirements, as you can see right here, for example, Blue Dragon, I have the stat requirements for all of these except for the melee versus electrified, because you need to have stamina and strength that equal 48. As you can see, I have 35 out of 48, meaning that my stamina and strength only equal 35. They have to both equal 48 together in order for me to take advantage of the melee versus electrified. So whenever you choose a guardian spirit, make sure that you're meeting the stat requirements to actually use the bonuses on that guardian spirit. So that's why my stamina is at 25. Strength is at 10 to meet the soft cap. Skill is at 30, like I said, to hit the requirements to use all of Ho-Oh, because I think Ho-Oh, you have to have in order to use the melee versus purified, your stamina and your skill have to be at 53 equally. They both have to equal 53 together. So that's why I have those stats in those places. Dexterity is at 30 just to meet the cap for my ninjutsu, and magic is at 200 because that is what my weapon scales with. Okay. This build is going to be pretty good. The reason why it's good, I think it's really good, is because I have ultimate magic. Now ultimate magic, if you do not know, allows you to have both mystic arts for Omio active. Okay, both mystic arts for Omio active is very good, because Omio, when you have one mystic art, which is awakening, you can use your Omio faster, and then if you have the other one active, it helps it last longer. Okay, amplification helps your Omio last longer. Not to mention, having 200 magic already makes it even more effective, and also boosts the amount of time it lasts. So all in all, this build is very good in terms of like longevity and pretty much like utility use such as magic. But that's actually it for the breakdown of the build. I'm going to run a few stages, show you how it does. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Before we get into it, I ask you like, comment, subscribe. I thank you guys so much for viewing my videos, interacting with me, giving me feedback and stuff. Keep on doing it. I appreciate it. I like talking to you guys. If I do miss a comment, I'm sorry. You know, trying to get these builds together and everything is, you know, it takes some time. So if I don't get back to you, I will for sure. I will see all your comments, and I try my best to respond to each and every one of you, because I feel as though if I don't interact with you, then I'm not doing my job of helping you. So thank you again for, you know, watching my videos, and then we're going to hop right now into some gameplay. Alright guys, we're in an event right now. It's the same event I use for pretty much every single video I do. It's the best stage to test out a build, in my opinion. I think it is. So we're gonna hop into it, but before I do, I did forget to mention something. With the hatchets, you do want to try and roll what is known as throwing weapon damage. I think I have a piece of gear that actually has it on there. Let me see. There should be a piece of gear that I have on there. Is it on the arm? Here it is. Okay, throwing weapon damage. With this build, you want to try to get throwing weapon damage on each one of your pieces of gear. It will increase the damage of your hatchets immensely. Okay, hatchets are a throwing weapon. So if you have throwing weapon damage on your gear, you'll do a lot more damage than my build would do. Like I said, my build, I don't have throwing weapon damage on any of my pieces of gear, so the damage is going to be nerfed a little bit. But if you are able to get throwing weapon damage on this build, it'll be great. It'll be great for you to use. So I might end up doing that depending on if I want to work with this build even more. But enough of that. We're just gonna hop right in. We're done. The fact that I did so much damage without even having to throw my weapon as much just shows you how much damage you can possibly do with throwing weapon damage. You probably could have taken out I probably could have taken out both of them just by throwing my weapon and like just only throwing my weapon. Like I didn't even have to attack them with melee attacks or anything like that. I could have literally probably taken them out with just throwing my weapon only. So that'll let you know how powerful this build can be. But next we're gonna jump into another stage, guys. So I decided to hop into a scroll of the Nioh. In this scroll we'll be fighting some human enemies, so we're gonna see how well this build does against humans. Look at that. And this is a scroll of the Nioh. I think it's like level. I think you have to be like a 500 or something to do this. Maybe even 6. He's done. So, oh, and I got another weapon. Awesome. But yeah, for your hatchet users, pretty good build. You know, it does a pretty nice amount of damage. And Mataza, he's not really like that easy of a boss. Like as you can see, he has that parry ability, and if he catches you in his little 1,000 stab move, it can definitely destroy you for sure, especially when he imbues it with his fire. That move can definitely destroy you. But as you can see, the hatchets do pretty damn good damage, and I don't even have throwing weapon damage on them. So yeah, we're just gonna hop into the next one. I think I'll run the Underworld mission next, just to show you how the build does in Underworld. So anybody who might want to know if it actually is viable in the Underworld, we'll show you. Well, I'll show you. But I'll see you there. All right, guys. So we're back. I'm gonna go into Underworld. I've actually already completed pretty much every floor of the Underworld. So after about floor 30, stuff starts to ramp up a little more. So I guess I'll just do floor 42, just because it's after 30 and it's not super deep. It's a lot of people who haven't even gotten this far yet. So we'll see how it does against the boss on this floor. And again, I'm not gonna like fight every enemy I see. I'm just gonna speed run through it. This is how I got through the floors initially. I learned that I shouldn't have done it this way because I missed out on a lot of key loot, but I did come back and do it over again. So that's how I got most of the builds that I'm doing now. So yeah, I'm just gonna speed run through it, and then we're gonna get to the end of it. So let's hurry up and get here. Underworld is pretty fun, honestly. You can find a lot of good loot in here, especially if you go up against a purple enemy. If you find a purple enemy, always fight them. Always. They will drop a lot of loot, okay? You'll get a lot of loot that way. But let us go ahead and get to a Kodama. Go that way? No, this way. Look at that purple enemy right there. For the sake of the video, I'm not gonna fight her right now. I just want to get to this. I don't want this video to be like 40 minutes long. So I'm just gonna get through this as quickly as possible, and then we will be good to go. Let's see. All right, cool. But yeah, like as you saw, that was a purple Kasha. If I'd have fought her, I'd have got a nice amount of loot drop. But like I said, for the sake of the video, I don't want this video to be like 40 minutes long. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get to the boss, and we can go ahead and get it started. He's done. So like I said, as you can see, this build is very viable in Underworld. This was the 42nd floor. After, like I said, about around floor 30, that's when it starts to ramp up a little bit more. Like you're gonna start hitting a little, like the enemies is gonna start hitting a little more harder. They're gonna be a little bit more tanky. But as you can see, this build is very, very viable in Underworld for sure. You can take it throughout. You can probably take this build through all 108 floors of Underworld. As long as you're getting your stacks up and you're doing you're making sure that you're switching between your active skills to stack up your Susano and your versatility, you'll be doing plenty of damage to the point where like I damn near melted him. Honestly, it didn't even take that much to do. Like, so I hope you guys enjoyed this build. That'll be the end of the video. Again, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you do have any more questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I always try my best to respond to every single comment. So just let me know if you liked it. It's King Red Diamonds, and I'm out.